It's a shutdown. I know I'm going to get my check. I've got a few people that already reached out to me in my comments and chat and other places and said, I didn't get my check on the first. I always get my check on the first or the second or the third. I didn't get my check yet. It has nothing to do with the shutdown. The shutdown doesn't affect outgoing checks, particularly ones that come on the first, because those already been sent to the direct deposit. That is, it's already been done by Social Security, already told the Department of Treasury, and Department of Treasury went ahead and send out the checks, and they will continue to send out the checks. So that is not an issue. A lot of social media people out there talking about shutdown, how it's going to affect Social Security and all that. But as of right now, it's not going to affect Social Security in terms of if you're in what's called current pay, in pay. Social Security would call it LAF C. That means you're in current pay. If you're in LAF C, if you're in current pay, you got a check last month, you're going to get a check this month. If you don't, then there's something else wrong there, and that's what we're going to talk about today. If you have a pending claim, or you want to file a new claim, or you have some other type of issue, Social Security calls it a PE, a postal entitlement issue. Or if you have Medicare, you need to sign up for Medicare. Any of those type of things, we're going to talk about that today. And so we'll let you.
I'm a mechanic, and I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this new diagnostic tool called Fixed. I'm a little skeptical, so I ordered one.
Teach you how to navigate the system and work into the system. Here we are, day 3. But I would argue we are in day 5,390 of, it's, you got to laugh. The alternative is to cry, I guess. We are in day 5,390 of the Social Security shutdown. And what are we talking about here? Well, the baby boomers, you see these gray bars up here. There's the baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964. 10,000 so people turn 65 every single day, and that number is going up and up and up. Back in 2010, Social Security employees, the people that help you get your benefits, make sure you're getting everything eligible, everything you're entitled to from Social Security, what you paid into it, they have met, the increase. And service was relatively good. It could always get better, always get better. But around 2010, politicians decided, for one reason or another, that hey, we don't want it to be easy to get your benefits. We want to make it as difficult as possible. We want people to hate Social Security and be completely frustrated. That way, eventually, we can come to them when this day happens. That is, the cuts eventually start happening, and we will say, hey, we tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas. So let's go ahead and just give it over to Wall Street. And that's been the plan for a long, long time. So we are in terms of no action by politicians to make sure those cuts don't happen, 40 years of inaction. So I did the math. When the Greenspan Commission was passed, that's when they raised the retirement age to 67 and did a bunch of other stuff. That was 15,507 days ago. There has been no real action by Congress, our representatives, to make sure Social Security is going to be here in terms of, it's going to be here. Social Security will be here if we don't privatize it. But the problem is, your checks are going to be cut. Everybody's check is going to be cut by 23% in 87 more checks. So 15,507 days of inaction by Congress. All right, so we're 3 days into the shutdown, but I would argue for all intents and purposes, it's, they've been slowly shutting it down for over 5,000 days. Okay, so reach out to your politicians and let's make sure this doesn't happen. Okay, so those people in pay, you're gonna get your pay. If you're one of the very, 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 very small percentage of people that were getting a actual paper check, those ended September 30th. Unless you made other type of arrangements, you set up a direct deposit, direct express, or there was an exception you can fill out with the Department of Treasury to get that paper check. I haven't heard anybody that did that. If anybody did that exceptions to continue to get their paper check, please let me know how that whole process went. Okay, so if you have a pending claim, that is, you filed for retirement benefits, disability benefits, survivor benefits, and it's just sitting in the office. I get that all the time. And it's just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. One of the problems with this long shutdown is because it got far, far, far worse when Elon Musk and Doge went in there and start, with their chainsaw and started just cutting jobs haphazardly with no rhyme or reason. And that's another reasons why they don't pick up the phones. It's been like that for a while, but it's gotten 10 times worse recently. And now you get AI, artificial intelligence. So if you've got a pending claim and you're wondering what's going on, it really depends on what type of pending claim you've got. If you've got a retirement survivor benefits, those spouse benefits, if you filed for Medicare Part A, Part B, special enrollment period, I'll talk about some tricks there. Then based on me doing this a few million times and running the third business Social Security office in the country, all of those, if you've provided all your documents and everything is good, and there's an employee there to actually push the button and adjudicate the claim, it takes a few days. To a retirement claim, I've done hundreds of thousands of retirement claims in the old days when you used to go into the local Social Security office and sit down in front of me and I would ask you a bunch of questions and take about, 20, 30, 40 minutes or whatever. And then I'd walk you to the door. And then by the time you got out of the building or got to your car, your claim was done. It was adjudicated, finished, end of story. I went on to the other 400 people. That's how it normally would happen. Now, you can't get an appointment for a month or two, and everything is taking a lot longer. So if your retirement claim, survivor claim, if you provided all the necessary documentation, you should theoretically, in the best possible world, you should have everything done in about a week or so. And if your benefits are due tomorrow, then you should get them tomorrow. That shouldn't be an issue. If you're talking about disability benefits, got a lot of questions already here, so I'll get into some questions here in a little bit. But if you're looking for disability benefits, then you know that unfortunately it's taking way, way, way too long, longer than it should. 6 to 9 months to get a disability claim decided on average. If you've got a really bad disability, then
if you're over 50 and still haven't signed up for the burial benefit that gives your family up to 25 large,
just might get it approved the same day or the next day or within a week or so. It's called the Terry cases, terminal illness type of cases. Those are adjudicated almost immediately. I've had many that are approved the same day. But if it's just you're not able to work because of a disability and it's not a terminal illness, then unfortunately it's taken anywhere from 6 to 9 months. But during a shutdown, there are things that Social Security is not allowed to do. You can't get a benefit verification. It's hard to get into replacement Medicare card. You get a replacement Social Security card you can't do. But on the Social Security card, so those people out there just need a replacement Social Security, not a new Social Security number or anything like that, just a replacement. You can do that online in most states. The computer system, they finally connected to the DMVs of the different states. And when you file online, the Social Security, as long as you're not making any changes, you're not changing your date of birth or your name or anything like that, you just need a replacement of the same exact one because you washed it or lost it or whatever. Then you do it online. The Social Security system talks to the DMV in your particular state, confirms everything is good, and if everything passes perfect, then they kick you out a Social Security card and you should get it in about 10 days to 2 weeks. Shouldn't be an issue there whatsoever. If you are, let's get a quick question. Let's jump in. We'll jump back and forth questions. Donna in Michigan, her plan was canceled, called another plan. Agent said underwriting needing unless I got a plan F or G, etc. Health test required. Yes, if your plan was canceled and there's about 1 million people, estimate about 1 million people that are going to get their plans, their Medicare Advantage plans canceled, particularly the PPO plans, because health insurance companies are trying to make as much money as they can on each person, and those PPOs are a little bit more expensive for them. So you probably have a PPO, and yeah, they're canceling you, and you have guaranteed issue rights. I had Ari from Chapter here yesterday talking about that and what that involves. That it just questions if you have to go through health underwriting to get a Medicare supplement plan. That's the only one you have to do health underwriting for, is a Medicare supplement plan, like a plan G, F, N, or whatever. Then you have to answer about 20 or 30 questions. And if you answer no to most of them, then you're good. If your plan was canceled, then you have a guaranteed issue. But yes, you can only have it's only for an F. That is if you were eligible for Medicare before January 1st, 2020. Other than that, a G. You can't get an N. That's not a guaranteed issue Medicare supplement plan. You'll have to go through health underwriting and get an N. Depending on your state, each state is a little bit different, but you can reach out to a chapter there and they can give you a little bit of a heads up on what's going on there. Okay, so let's get back to our story here, but I'll jump in and answer some questions along the way as well. So if you've got any questions, make sure if you're watching this in a recording later, make sure you subscribe and like and all that kind of stuff in case you or your friends or family, neighbors ever have any problems with Social Security and they need answers. All right, so if you're filing a new claim, you want to file for a new claim for retirement, disability benefits, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, whatever the case may be, call immediately. The most important thing is called protective filing. So don't wait. If you want to file for benefits and you want those benefits to start in the next few months or so, call Social Security, and because once you call, that protects you for that month. So let's say you call, in this month in October, and you want your benefits to start this month in October, but you don't get your appointment until November, December because, your local office doesn't have any staff. Not an issue. If you don't get your actual appointment until December, at your appointment in December, you just tell them, yeah, I called you all in October. So my protective filing is in October. I want my benefits to start in October. And no problem whatsoever. Just tell them protective filing. And even though you don't get your claim adjudicated until December, you can get that 2 months of back pay. So make sure you don't miss that back pay. Okay, so but you need some lead time to do that. Make sure you can file online. But even people think, well, I filed online, was no problem. Don't need staff when you file online. No, every single one of those applications you file online, there's a person on the other side that looks at that to make sure your earnings record is correct, to make sure your status is correct in sort of your U.S. citizenship or green card, make sure everything is correct. Your check any spouses that you have, and if there's any leads, as they call them, Social Security, if you have an ex-spouse that might be entitled to benefits, they have to reach out to that person. So there's a lot of things that has to be done behind the scenes, even when you file online. Okay, so the important thing is to get that done. And one of the big things we're seeing now, particularly with this annual enrollment period that's going on right now, people are signing up for Medicare. A lot of people are losing their jobs. And if you're signing up for Medicare fresh, that's fine. Again, if you've got time, you've got a month or two to wait, then that's not an issue. But what we're seeing is a lot of people losing their employment right now, and they losing their health insurance. And so they're, 66, 67, 68 years old, and they go ahead and they need to sign up for Medicare, but they need it to start immediately. They can't wait for a month or 2 months or 3 months to get it, adjudicated to start. They need it to start,
We all deserve to be protected. It's why we will always say yes to you. If you're 45 to 80,
start next week. So in that particular case, during a shutdown, you really have to be forceful. I mean, not violently forceful, but you have to. Don't do it online. If you need your Medicare to start within the next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, don't do it online because they might not be able to get to it. I wouldn't schedule an appointment. You might want to try and say, hey, it's an emergency. Can I get anything, like tomorrow or next day or something like that? But if you can't get something immediately and you're going to be without prescriptions or, health insurance for a month or so, then you just have to go down to the local Social Security office. And local Social Security offices, I talked about this a few days ago, but Federal Protective Services, the guards at the front are Federal Protective Services. They're not Social Security employees. They're contracted guards, private guards. And so you just have to tell them they listen for a few key words. They don't let people in sometimes a little bit, depends on your particular guards. They're a little bit more gung-ho than other guards, but they listen for particular words. So if you say things like, this is a PR issue, this is a, this is a health issue. I need my prescriptions. I've called my congressperson and this is a congressional issue, type of things like that. And they say, oh, okay, all right, we'll go ahead and let you in and have your forms ready. So if you're looking for a special enrollment period, then you're going to need a couple of forms. And you can go onto my website and get them there, or you can go onto ssa.gov. You are going to need two forms, the 40B and the 564. And I've got links to those right there. Super, super easy to fill out. So you have to take those down and get your special enrollment period. But make sure during the government shutdown, everything is going to take longer than usual. And we want to make sure you don't go without your prescriptions or your doctor's visits or whatever the case may be when you need to. All right, so there's tons of exceptions. This is also that we're beginning the annual enrollment period. So if you're looking to change your Medicare Advantage plan, or you were one of those people like Donna who got their plans canceled and now you have the option to check out a Medicare supplement plan, you don't have to go through underwriting, guaranteed issue. Just make sure you keep that letter. That letter is your golden ticket. So you just need to be prepared. So it doesn't matter who helps you look for a new plan. You just need to be prepared. Have your current plan so you can compare it. Have your providers, you know, the doctors you definitely want to keep, what prescriptions you have to have, what pharmacy, if you have a particular pharmacy, you have to have, what your priorities are. You need to save money here. You need to save money on a hospital. You want some extra dental, vision, or whatever the case may be, and tad bit of patience. Don't expect on calling anybody on October 15th to getting through. It's going to be a crazy season. So if you need help, reach out to Chapter. And remember, you have October 15th to December 7th. I would probably wait. I wouldn't wait till the end, till December. I would probably like the end of October, November is the best time to call. But your plan won't be effective until January 1st. So, you know, you shouldn't have an issue. If you have an issue getting through Chapter specifically, make sure you reach out to me during the live Q&A, and we will reach out to Chapter and make sure you're taken care of.